There it is.
Were you making a face this time?
I was. I'm still wondering if it's actually there or not. I think it is.
It was last week.
Oh.
It just takes
Oh, there it is. It does. Nope. Good. Holy cow.
It's okay. It's still there. You just have
Still
to
there.
tell all the stuff about comments.
Look at that.
Hey
Well,
guys.
it says we've been live
Happy Wednesday night.
8 minutes and 30 seconds.
8 minutes. That's not true. I hope.
What have we been talking about for the last 8 minutes?
Nothing, but it's a lot of boring time.
Let's see if anybody shows up. We'll see what happens. I don't think we've been live for 8 minutes and 44 seconds, but if we have,
You can tell us.
welcome to our life.
Hey,
I know
Gavin.
it's exciting. Gavin, you good-looking joker, you. How are you this
Good
lovely evening?
Sir?
Sir? That was nice.
Well, I mean, it's like, I don't know. London.
Yeah, foggy day.
It just seemed like the formal thing to say.
London town. Hello, Meanses. Glad you're here this evening.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Well, see your comment.
See your name. Mickey St. John Edwards. Holy cow.
Welcome,
With that-
Edward.
I think hats off to you. Holy cow. It's been
It's
good.
Thursday morning.
Thursday
I know,
morning for you.
midnight.
I know, Gab. I know. Oh, my
Go to
goodness. You're up
bed.
so
Are the
late.
Are the kids sleeping? Or are they awake? Surely they're sleeping.
Surely.
We have kids that sometimes they've come back to us after midnight.
Almost
they sometimes
always.
still do.
They try.
Mel C-Dub.
Mel
Not
C-Dub.
even on her C-Dub.
I know. Court. My man. What's up, brother? Hey, Natalie.
Hey.
Good to
Oh,
see
Natalie.
you.
I missed your call.
I didn't miss your call.
I just realized. Just now.
Awkward. Shawnee's going to be excused
Call
from
me
the
later.
discussion.
Call me
I'll
later.
call you back. I hope it wasn't important. Hi, Miss
You can
Linda.
catch up.
My Raging Cajun. How are you this evening? Hope you're doing well. Did you know? Okay, Linda, I won't give an exact address. Linda is from Cajun country,
Okay.
and she lives on Cajun Lane.
Cajun Lane.
Mind blown.
That's awesome.
I don't
That's
think
easy
there's
to
another
remember.
Cajun Lane in the state of Georgia, but she lives there. That's okay.
Anna,
Hey,
7:45.
hey, 7.
Gavin, look at you guys. So disciplined.
Okay, Gavin, that is very disciplined. Gav, what's going on over there for real, man? Like, are you working from the home full time still,
How
or
are things
how's
going?
the wife?
How's your dad?
For real,
And
how's your
parents.
dad, buddy? How are both your parents? But, man, I'm looking forward to getting some of those updates, buddy.
So what if our kids went to bed at 7:45?
They'd be asleep in just a little bit.
a few minutes.
Y'all,
We try for them to go to bed earlier, but
We do.
not 7:45.
Not that early. We could. They've been falling asleep faster, though. My youngest, y'all, I scratch his back for about 4 seconds and he's out. And then I come downstairs and sit in that chair for a little bit,
And then he's out.
hands down.
It's a pattern. Pretty
a
much
pattern.
it's a
It
race
really
to
is a
see who
pattern.
can fall asleep in the living room the fastest.
Tommy Bone from the Bones. Okay,
Cajun
by a
Lane.
campfire. Okay, Tommy,
That's
you don't have to go
awesome.
all Kirk Cameron on me. All right, I understand. It's like revive it for real,
I
Tommy.
think
That's
Kurt
awesome.
Cameron's fire pit looks pretty cool.
It
Or
does.
the
I'm
different
waiting for an
ones.
invite. If anybody knows Kirk Cameron, I'd like an invite to his
That'd
house
be
to sit
fun.
with them. She sure does, little occasionally. Tommy, thank you for joining us tonight, buddy. Jenny Abernathy, thanks for checking out
Hey,
that
small
book.
group
Jenny, you get that
member.
text? I sent the first mass small group text today.
I saw that. Wow.
Yep, there was
That
quite a few of us.
That was a
It's good
leadership
group.
move from you.
I'm trying.
I have not looked at the book at all, Jenny. So if that answers your question about which chapters go with which, I don't know, but I
I tried my best to answer.
feel like we're going to figure
It was
this
okay.
out.
Yeah, Gab, give me a call. Not now, I'm on this, but for real, I'd like to, let's catch up. Maybe sometime tomorrow. Just shoot me a message, man. I really would.
Today
I'd like
for
to
you.
catch up.
It'll be today.
Today, excuse me. Tomorrow, today.
When you wake up in the morning, call Danny.
No, yeah, you can. And I will wake up from my peaceful
No,
slumber.
it won't be morning.
When he wakes up in the morning,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
yep, there it is.
Still do it. It'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
That'll be great.
I'll let Shawnee do it. Sarah, good evening to you. How are you this evening?
Hi, Sarah. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, Sarah.
Today was a beautiful.
Could you pass that cup to me?
Oh yeah, sure. A beautiful
That was
Wednesday.
quite.
It's so
Good evening,
nice
Father.
To see the sun.
Good evening, Father. Hope you're feeling better.
Was he not feeling good? Oh no.
No, it was like Morgan County.
Did we give you the stomach bug?
No, we didn't.
I didn't. Caroline probably did.
Blame it on Caroline. She's the cutest.
Oh, she was the sickest.
No, I don't know. It does stink though.
No, but not when you were here. Seriously. If you caught it from us, it was delayed, way delayed. But
Yeah, happens to the best of us.
oh, I'm sorry. That's terrible.
It was a rough one. What were you saying a minute ago?
How pretty of a day it was.
It was a beautiful day. Stunningly beautiful today.
I just love it when the sun
Miss Kim.
comes out.
Miss Kim, we opened the day with Bible study in the building. It was fantastic. Kim, thankful for you.
Awesome.
RG, thankful for you. Hey,
RG's here.
I think people are just jumping on here. It's throwing me off with the timing because it says we've been on for 13 minutes,
I know.
but we've only been on for 5.
At least we hope that's the case. If
We
it's
hope that's
been
the
running
case.
for 13 minutes, that's a very long and boring.
It was probably the computer wasn't even on that long, was it?
I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know. If
We're
you
going to be
guys-
outside on
if
the
you
back
guys
porch,
saw
but
us
it's a
for
little
13
cold.
Yeah, really, it was just 13 minutes of us moving everything in because we thought we'd be out there and then, no, it's too cold.
Too cold. I was feeling pretty good. Good, Dad.
I was like,
Good.
nope, not going to happen.
Did you have a good day there, Stu?
I did. A good day at school. For those of you who've been praying for my student, he's back and doing well,
Jimmy's
so
back.
great. That was a
Good.
big highlight of the week.
Looking good, like he's
Looking
strength
great.
back
Yeah,
and stuff.
absolutely. 100%. Looking awesome. So, super big praise for that. So just
That's
keep
really
praying
good.
for him to keep heading in the right direction. And then otherwise, it was just a lot of geometry and some dissertation news. If you guys want to pray for me tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock, I'm going to be talking to the principal of Valdosta Early College Academy
That sounds riveting.
and setting up my research study timeline. So here's hoping.
I'm
Here's
praying.
hoping that we can get it all the way done
I'm
in
praying.
March. Yeah,
Get
it's
it
been
done in
about
March.
a 6-year prayer for us.
Too soon. Too soon. We're going to finish this thing with boldness.
Super exciting. Are we?
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
might be actually helping with that because it's a lot of.
I am a help partner.
Where were you going?
I was
with
going to say helpmate, but that sounds like what Eve was for Adam, and that would have just been weird. Like, I know we're
Yeah,
each other's
that's the
helpmates, but
wrong
really, I'm not going down that road.
that? So help partners.
Yeah, help partner.
That seems.
It's geologically.
I don't think that's better.
It's geometrically
You're a helper.
synonymous.
Helpful spouse. Just.
Geometrical synonymous. Deanne Cook, she's praying. Hannah's doing. Look at them prayer hands.
I know. You guys are so sweet to already be
Thank
praying.
you.
That's awesome.
Miss-
No,
Mrs.
seriously.
Cook,
This
Mrs.
is the part
Boyd.
that makes me the most nervous because it's probably one of the last things that can just fall apart at the last minute.
Things
and
fall
I don't
apart.
want that to happen. So, you quoting?
Chinua
Chapter-
Achebe. There's certain things that I didn't really read that
I
I'm
read it.
buying.
I read the whole book. And he
Anytime
makes
I
fun
hear
of
the
people who read
phrase
it.
"things fall apart," there's a book that I was supposed to have read in college called
It's really depressing.
"Things
I
Fall
read it
Apart"
in high school.
by some guy. I announce his name as being Chinua Achebe. I don't know if that's right or not,
I don't think
but
that's
I
right.
oftentimes do say "things fall
I'm
apart."
pretty
Chinua
sure
Achebe.
I'm pretty sure that's not how my teacher said it, but I'm gonna mess it up too.
Chinua.
You didn't read it in high school?
No,
Really? You weren't
Don't
even
judge
supposed
me.
to read it in high school? Really?
really.
I didn't read it in college. It's a depressing book, but well written. Just
It
depressing.
was a well-written book, though. You know, it's a depressing
Basically,
book.
the title-
1984.
The title
A couple
tells the
years-
story.
Yeah, things fall apart.
It's
Take a
bad.
hint.
Bad news all the way through.
A while back for Christmas, Shanti and I were like getting all creative and cute, and we said, "Let's just read books together all year long." That
Oh,
sounds like
we
something
did. That
Danny's
was-
never done.
that was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago. So we started and read. What was the first one? we read?
1984.
No, was that the first one?
Was it? I
If
thought
it was also the last.
We were
The most
trying to-
depressing book of my life. I kept waiting for like a happy.
That sounds like a weird thing to say for Christmas, but it was actually a gift to me from Danny because he knows I love to
It
read.
was, and I bought
and he
some books.
hates to read.
I did. We were going to do
And
this
he
thing
was
together.
like, we're going to read together and have our own book club. And we did for 1984. And it was rough.
George Orwell.
And then,
What is the deal?
and then we had Grapes of Wrath or
Yeah, well, I couldn't get through that one.
No.
Of Mice and Men. It was like, these
No,
are
we read-
depressing. All these things were written in the 1920s for good reason.
it was like we needed to offset it with like a happy, sad.
Yes, then I started watching TV instead. But
Then we just.
thank
yeah.
you, Miss Kim.
Then Netflix happened.
Netflix is there.
I
Kim, we are
really do
thankful
like
for
to
y'all.
read, even the classics, but that was pretty hard hitting.
That's
stuff.
the hardest book I've ever read in my life. Lake Point Family, so happy Shanti, your student. Kim, fantastic. Melcy, Bill, no, he's not. Is he really?
Is he? He needs to tell us what part he's on.
I have nothing to say, Billy. You should have
was
told me
making
that,
fun-
Bill.
He was
We could
making
work-
fun of people who like to do puzzles last night. I
Well, he's reading
taking
1984
a
by
lot
George
of personal
Orwell.
offense to
Is he
that. So
like
now I feel
beginning,
like-
middle, end?
Who's
I'm
calling a
all-
nerd who? Because puzzles don't make you nearly as nerdy as reading 1984.
1984 will make you depressed.
It will.
It's okay.
Puzzles
though.
make
Big
you
Brother's
happy,
watching
Billy.
you, but then you watch the news and you're like, do 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 do. Just saying. I'm just saying it. Gab, I don't know what things are like in England, but things as close as
He can
Canada around
sing
here
that
are hitting
song
the
though,
fan.
Tuck.
You know what I'm saying? Holy cow.
How does it make you feel again?
It's pretty intimidating. Really is. I'm intimidated. He just won't stop making fun of my puzzles. First off, you're not old. Second,
You're not old, and puzzles are great. Just ask Danny. He loves puzzles. He loves to spend a good afternoon putting together a jigsaw puzzle, especially if it's at least 1,000 pieces. It's his favorite.
never in my life have I done that. Other than the puzzle I bought, there was a picture of ourselves.
He did.
Last
I think
spring.
we talked about that already.
Um,
We have a picture of ourselves into a
I did
puzzle.
play. What's that dice game called?
Yahtzee.
Yahtzee. I played Yahtzee a few times, and that's not terrible. And I got past the losing anger. You know, I used to get so angry when I lose.
He just passed it down to Luke.
And Luke's furious.
He just inherited it straight from Danny.
I'm like, you better get used to that,
It's
son,
not
because it
even
ain't going
fun.
away.
It's like some people are competitive and that makes it fun. No, this does not make it more fun.
This makes you not want to play games ever.
No,
I
this
was
is
right there.
like, you know what? It's not worth it.
One of
It's
the
not.
worst game playing moments of my life was on New Year's Eve at my dad, Dan Harrell's house. Shanta was there, Ben Faulkner, hometown Ben was
I was
there,
there.
Claude Felcher, there were a bunch of friends there. Having a grand old time, just chilling out, doing our thing, playing Scrabble, because that's how crazy we were back in the college days. So
Wild.
I was stuck with the blocks. Ben Faulkner sat down in that chair and just destroyed it. Put down like a 97 word.
You were playing like it.
You gotta keep it simple for the puzzles. Mel said
You're like,
that was
I
not
don't know.
that
This
funny.
is all I can do. Just these 2 letters. I can't.
She wrote down,
Then
she
Ben
was
was
like,
like, or you could just use all 7 for this word.
philanthropy. I'm like, what? Who does that? It was really annoying.
That's more than 7 letters. Danny. Come
What do you do? Faulkner.
on. Yeah.
Yes, Gav. Yes.
Hometown Ben.
Hometown Ben. I don't think he's watching tonight. If he is, hasn't
Hey,
changed
Ben.
a bit.
Not a bit.
Whoops,
Not
my
one
man.
bit, Gav.
I had
Same.
lunch with Ben a few weeks ago, actually, Gav. He was driving through town and wanted to come by and say, hey, it was good catching up.
Good times.
Great oldies. Oldies 93.9. You say Faulkner from a snake? Okay.
Wow.
Look at you. He'll probably tell me that story later.
If you don't know Ben Faulkner, he's a man with 9 lives. He's survived many.
I've known him since
His truck
1989.
was struck by lightning. one time.
1989. Yeah.
I want to hear the snake story at some point.
I want to hear that
When
next one.
Gavin calls you in his morning, we're going to hear
His
the
morning,
snake
my
story.
middle of the night.
That's right.
We'll catch up
It's
on
going to
that.
happen.
Hope everyone else had a wonderful Wednesday.
You don't remember?
Oh wow,
How
this is
could
getting
you?
intense.
Danny's memory is not.
I need to start taking
Super
ginkgo
strong.
biloba.
If I was there, I don't remember. I don't think I was there.
Where were we? Donde? That's Spanish for where.
I'm aware. Thank you.
He'll tell me that. Let's just stare at the screen. Let's just sit in silence until he
No.
responds.
Let's not.
21 people go down to 3. So it was a good Wednesday for us as well. We are doing that Wednesday morning prayer meeting. Y'all, it's been really good. So if you're looking for just a good Bible study, Jeff Rogers is teaching it. I'm working the sound booth, which is crazy. And going through the book of Ephesians. Really enjoying that one. I'm excited about that one. I do remember that. Along the Riverwalk in Augusta. Memories are coming back. Things are looking up. Gavin, thanks for saving Ben's life. Saving Faulkner's life.
I can skip on the ginkgo below.
I'm going to pass on that one either way. I'm not going to do puzzles either, Mel C. So calm down. I'm not going to start doing crossword puzzles to get things.
He won't even
flowing.
do. He won't do puzzles. He won't do any like crosswords. Nothing that has anything to do with puzzle. It's not for Danny. He's not it. And I love it all. So we're just very opposite.
Just love it all.
I do. And I don't.
Do you want to go outside? No, it's cold. Not all puzzles. Janaea Weaver, heart. Thanks, Janaea.
Janae and I just celebrated our 1 year anniversary of me being sick in her car.
Oh, that's
We were talking about
disgusting.
it ladies'
That was
Bible
bad.
study. 1 year ago, in
That
a
was
couple
rough.
of days, we ran in an awesome race, and then the
She
day
loves
just
Sudoku.
went downhill.
It,
That was
it
1 year
was so
anniversary
bad. That
this
was
week.
bad. I felt sorry for those ladies when they pulled in my driveway
Yeah,
at
so did I.
midnight or whatever
All
time it
7
was.
hours that
That
we were
was so
together.
bad. Good cause, but horrendous trip. Home.
Great cause.
Physical ride home.
I would run the race again. I would not want the ride home again ever in life. But I do feel like our friendship is strong.
Yeah.
And it probably
well,
always going to be
anytime you hold
pretty
somebody's hair
strong.
back, you're going to get closer, you know?
Yep.
Loving the Bible study. Not this one. We're not studying the Bible. In the morning. Yes, Kim. Yes.
Yeah, this Gasparilla. Yes, that was the
Wow.
best one.
Where did you come from, Michelle? Didn't know you were on there.
Just
Janaea, who was
Stalking.
showing up. I got to be careful. That's fun. We were at a wedding last weekend. It was lovely,
Mm-hmm.
lovely. Little girl. She's not little anymore. She's a college
She's
kid,
not.
married. She's
She's
really sweet.
grown.
Emily.
She's a grown-up.
What's her last name?
Oh, I don't know now.
Gronkowski.
We
Emily
didn't know
and
the
Luke.
grand.
Luke's a very handsome man. Anyway, we were at the wedding with some friends of ours, Eric Klein and his wife Christy. We saw them there, sat next to them. They sat next to us. And then we went outside, talked for a while. Like, hey, let's go to the reception. We did. They had like all kinds of food and hors d'oeuvres. Everybody served. We didn't touch the spoons. That's the thing of the past, which is nice. They were serving us. So
Let's please
on the
keep
way in
this.
the room, the building, I said, "There's a car with a Lake Point sticker. Who from Lake Point is here?" Till the server wearing the mask, Sydney Stevens. Who knew? Had no idea until she said, "Hey," heard her voice.
She was the
Fashionably
kitchen
asked.
manager of that
She
wedding.
was running that trucker, and it was very
She
nice.
was, and it was perfect. That was the best wedding food I've ever had. Seriously.
It was
Don't you
very.
think?
It was good. It was very good.
The hors d'oeuvres especially.
The hors d'oeuvres did something to me.
They were great.
But no, I'm trying to think anything else we have before we get into the Bible study.
Sunday Fun Day, isn't that coming up?
Sunday Fun Day's coming up this Sunday. If you're in the building,
We're not
if
really
not,
showing children Braveheart.
we're
I don't know
not-
if that came across in Danny's.
Nobody's going to show up because they're going to think we're doing Braveheart.
Why would you even?
I should have had a movie picked out by now, and I know.
I thought we were doing the Sandlot.
I really want to do the Sandlot. What do y'all think? Sandlot? That sounds like a fun
Yay or
one.
nay?
know?
You
I
tell
like
us
the
here.
Sandlot. Sounds good. Jeff
We're
has
not
one called-
doing Gladiator or Braveheart.
We're
for sure.
not. They're too European.
That was a joke.
You know?
I don't think it came across like a joke.
I don't
so
think it did. People
seem
thought,
nervous.
what kind of church is this? We're not doing that. It'll be probably the Sandlot. Jeff has one that looks pretty cool. It's about a basketball player, Pete.
Maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, it's going to be good.
It'll
Justin's
yeah.
going to be popping some popcorn. We're going to have some
It'll be family friendly.
hot dogs
Either
on,
way.
on the grill going. So we'd love for you to come out this coming Sunday. That's going to be at 1 o'clock. So I just plan on hanging out. I thought today we could, I don't know if we could set up, we have screens in the building that we can show this on, but we also have like a screen you can put outside, but we could just put it inside and shine on that one.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's getting festive. Okay, we might be going for that route, Michelle. But yeah, that's going to be this coming Sunday. Looking forward to it.
I'm excited.
I'm excited as
I
well.
love a good movie day.
And then the only things I have in the next couple of weeks, on Good Friday, which is the Friday before Easter, we're going to be doing something this year. We kind of alternate where we'll have a service, and then we'll do something in the building. So I'm kind of leaning towards this year, just having the building open, so it'll all be set up and ready to go. Are you off school on Good Friday or not? Anyway, it's like
Yes.
April.
It's the
2nd,
day.
the
Well,
day before
it's the
spring
Friday
break.
before spring break.
Is that
But as
virtual
far as I
now?
know, it's totally normal day.
So if it's a normal day, I was planning on just driving the kids to school, dropping them off, and going and unlocking the building. We're just gonna have stations set up around the sanctuary, and I'm planning on just leaving it open all day. I mean, just letting people come at your leisure, just come in and just have some time of prayer and remembering what Jesus did on the cross. Just real reflective. But it'll be open. I mean, I'm thinking even into the early evening, just letting people come after they get off work. But anyway, just put that on your calendars. And then for Easter, virtual folks and folks that will be joining us in the building, we are looking at doing 3 services on Easter: 8 o'clock, 9:30, and 11. Might be the first time my wife's heard about this.
This
8
is the
o'clock,
first I'm hearing about it.
9:30, and 11 on
All right,
Easter
praise team.
Sunday. Praise team, it's being Matt. Here we
heard
go.
it- you
you
heard
know.
it- you've heard it
so
here first.
we're offering children's stuff at 9:30 and 11, 8 o'clock. I'm inviting anybody that doesn't have kids. If you're up for getting up a little early, come to the 8 o'clock. We'll try to free up some extra seats in an 11 o'clock service. But we're anticipating a good response from this. And y'all, it's an exciting time at Lake Point. We had 2 baptisms just last week. We have 2 more baptisms this coming Sunday, and 2 baptisms scheduled for 2 weeks from now. So just
Wow,
people are
that's awesome.
just accepting Christ and changing lives. So I'm very excited about that. We have 1 or 2 more that are trying to schedule something right now. So just really, it's
Great.
good. Like spiritually, it's
Great.
it's really, really good. So I'm thankful for that. So
Still
we're excited
seems
about
to
that
me
one.
like really, it seems like Easter should not be this close. But
Easter's
it
a
is.
little-
I mean,
little bit early.
obviously, Ash Wednesday's already passed. So.
April 4th. So we'll be doing that one and celebrating Easter. So anyway, those are some big church things we kind of have coming up. You got anything else?
If I do, I'll think about it. But at
She'll
the
think
moment,
about it.
nothing
Just
that's
puzzled.
coming to my mind.
All right, guys. If you've got a Bible, open up to Psalm 9 tonight. Psalm chapter 9. Shanta was reading this morning, and on her way out the door, said, "Hey, let's look at this for this evening." So Psalm chapter 9. As you're turning to Psalm chapter 9, we were also just talking about like the 1-year anniversary of us doing this thing is coming up pretty soon. So we need to do something fun for that. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but we'll be coming up with something, and we'll let you know before it gets here.
I'm thinking it must have been the Monday after school's closed on March 13th. So, March 16th.
There it is.
1 year later, we are still here.
Still here. We're still here. We've opened up a lot of other things, but we're still doing this.
We're not just only here all day.
That's right.
But
we are.
Some of us have been doing
Different
this
from some
almost
folks.
a
We
year.
are
Yeah, that's a
thankful
long
for that
year.
leadership. Let's get back out. You want to look at a few verses in here or the whole thing? What were you thinking?
I had not thought too much about it, but I did really like verses 9 and 10. Do you want me to read them while you're looking for your spot?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm just trying to say verse 1 and 9
Okay,
and 10.
but do you have something about one?
I'm just going to read it. Let's do 9. Let's start at 9. It's a great chapter from what I'm seeing so far.
Killing me, Smalls. See what I did there?
Sunday fun day.
Okay.
Go for it, girl.
I'm just going to read 9 and 10.
You want me to read it? Is that less awkward? She's feeling awkward.
I'm not.
Let me read Psalm 9, beginning in verse 9. The Lord is a stronghold for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. Sorry, I got lost. And those who know your name put their trust in you. For you, O Lord, have not forsaken those who seek you. Those are some good verses right there. I'm just going to start talking about that school.
That's great.
You probably have she's the thesaurus over here. She'll have things that match it. One thing in verse 9, anytime you see in your Bible where the Lord is all capital, like in mine, is yours capital there? L-O-R-D. There's two different ways that you'll see Lord in the Bible. It's either spelled all caps, L-O-R-D, which is a way of saying Yahweh. In the Old Testament, the Jewish people did not believe in writing the Lord's name down because they thought if you wrote the Lord's name down, you could mess it up or it could get damaged. In a way, you were desecrating the name of the Lord, breaking a commandment, this whole thing. So instead of writing the name Lord or God out, they would write YHWH, which stood for Yahweh. Yahweh, the creator, the God. So anytime in the English Bible that the word Lord is all capped like that, it's representing the Lord Yahweh. There are a few times, which is really cool, where it'll say the Lord our God is our Lord in times of trouble. And the first one might say L-O-R-D, all caps. The second one will say capital L, little o, little r, little d. Anytime you read something like that, it's pretty cool because it's kind of like it's giving the Lord his name and then giving him descriptions about himself of his name. So it's like the Lord God is our God who is, like descriptions of him. So anyway, so when it says here, the Lord is a stronghold for the oppressed, he's talking about the Lord. Yahweh is a stronghold for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble.
Mine uses the word refuge. The Lord will also be a refuge for the oppressed and a refuge in the time of trouble. And those who know your name will put their trust in you. For you, Lord, have not forsaken those who seek you. So this morning, I just now updated my Bible app, and so maybe this has been happening for some of you before now, but every morning I read just the daily verse, and this morning it did something different. It asked me, how are you feeling? And I thought, that's weird.
Good. How about you?
It actually made me think of there's a lot of teacher apps that we can put in, like as a first quiz question, like, how do you feel about this quiz? And I thought, that's a very teacher thing for the Bible app to ask me. But there it was. And so I clicked like a happy face or whatever. And then it gave me this list of emotions to choose from. And so then you can choose your emotion. And then it suggested 3 different passages. And I was able to pick. And so I was like, well, song sounds good. So I just thought it was neat that it has that feature now where you can, it sort of directs your reading a little bit more specifically to you and how you feel that moment. And so this verse came up, and I thought that this part of the chapter was just an encouraging way to start the day. Especially verse 10, where it says, those who know your name will put trust in you. And for you, Lord, have not forsaken those who seek you. And so it's just an encouragement of, and kind of neat how you were saying how the L-O-R-D is so important for how they didn't want to have the name of the Lord be misused or misapplied or anything like that. And then verse 10 goes on to say
those who know
the importance of knowing the name. And
because in that, and a lot of times, like way Old Testament times, like you would, in the movies, you see people going into battle and they'd carry out the banners and the band would represent what people group they were. It's kind of under that idea of like we're going out under the banner, under the name of the Lord. So sometimes I also want to open us up to thinking, like when we bring in like, the Ten Commandments and all, don't use the Lord's name in vain. A lot of times I immediately go to, and we could have a whole conversation just on this, but I immediately go to, don't cuss using the Lord's name in vain. Don't say his name like, oh my goodness gracious, but not saying goodness gracious. And it does. It absolutely means that. And our culture is, we really need to be careful with using the Lord's name in a holy way. But also, man, I open us up to also think like how we are living our lives under the banner of the name of God. So if we're saying, me and my house stands for the Lord, and how are we living out underneath that thing? Are we still bringing glory to Him? Just a good, good checkpoint to check with that.
On the Monday Night Women's Study, we talked about this week how your conduct is your reputation in society and to those people around you is your witness. So some of the things that we do or say or how we act even to people will affect our testimony and what people know about our faith. And whether or not, the truth is, we know that God is full of grace and full of love and that we believe that He can forgive us for anything. But if we don't live that forgiveness out to the people around us who don't know the Lord, then we're sort of tarnishing that name also. And so we talked about how our conduct, can have a positive or negative effect on what people know about the name of the Lord. So this is really sort of related to that.
Anytime you see oppression, and that's especially in the Old Testament, Jesus is a huge fan in the New Testament of also seeking out those who are oppressed. I think in American culture, Gavin's in England, and British culture, naturally, thank goodness, like women have rights and children have rights. But in Jesus' day, a lot of times what I tend to overlook that when I was reading through, like, okay, Jesus is talking to a woman or Jesus is validating kids, revolutionary concepts of his time, to know that Jesus sought out the oppressed. Now, not all women and children were oppressed, but the Samaritan people were, and immediately after the resurrection, like all these disciples and followers of Jesus start getting visions, and the Holy Spirit starts leading them to what we call the Gentiles, right, which are non-Jewish people, which was radical, like, because they had been raised in the Jewish culture, like everything was about them, and the Lord immediately said, nope, it's about everybody. To me, just one like convicting question that we can ask ourselves is, one, a twofold question. So one, who would we consider to be an oppressed person or an oppressed group of people? Now, I think the easy thing would be to say, of course, people in sub-Saharan Africa, they are oppressed, or children that are called in all kinds of horrendous things all around the world, like trafficking and all. Absolutely, those are very real and need to be addressed. But I think Jesus is a big fan of also bringing it close to home. Like, okay, who are the oppressed in Madison, Georgia? Who are those that are oppressed? Because he says here, God chooses to be a stronghold for the oppressed. Now, like spiritually, of course, we're all oppressed. Like, we're all in need of a Savior. That's the stronghold. That's where we start. But y'all, I really think God's a fan of saying, after we receive that salvation, after we receive that, go out into the world and find people that are oppressed and introduce them to stronghold. Like, so, I mean, I don't think about oppressed people very often. I'm not going to lie. Like when I'm driving, like today, I got to be honest with you. I prayed, but this is the first time I thought, okay, who in my life is experiencing oppression right now? I don't know. I think Jesus was pretty active in seeking those people out.
I also think oppressed makes us think it should be this big, awful, terrible thing that somebody's going through, and it could be that somebody is truly oppressed and it's big and huge. But I think every day we see people who are just struggling. And so I think if you can't come up with somebody that you come face to face with on a daily basis, that you would maybe use the whole big word oppressed. Just think of the people that you come in contact every day, and maybe the one that seems like they struggle the most just with daily life. Because we all have that person that we see, and you're thinking, they're just, the weight of the world seems like it's on their shoulders, or they're just really struggling to get through the regular day. Because that's not oppressed in the way that we think of it, but it is a difficult way to live life. And so this verse says that if we put our trust in the Lord, He won't forsake us. But if those people in our lives are not putting their trust in the Lord, they don't have that refuge that we have. And so sometimes we can be a stepping stone for people who need a refuge. And I think if you can give them a feeling of a safe place, a refuge just for that minute, in any small way, then that sort of gives them a glimpse of like, wow, how did you even think to address me? How did you even think to bring this refuge into my life? And then, of course, our answer is, well, the Lord. You know, He's my refuge, and so I'm just kind of passing it down the chain. And it just gives them access to that. I don't think everybody always has easy access into knowing the Lord.
That's
Not
right.
always. So.
And I think when we trust in His name, we are more willing, like it says in verse 10, those who know your name put their trust in you, for you haven't forsaken those who seek you. Like, to me, it's in a perfect order, because He's saying, like, if we trust in His name, we're seeking Him. I think that's why we hopefully we open our day with prayer. We open our day with scripture reading. We open our day seeking the Lord. Because you're right. Like, I would bet a lot of us in the last week or two have had a conversation with someone where at the end of that conversation, you ever, I don't know, recently maybe you talked to somebody and you thought, or asked, like, hey, you okay? Like, you good? And they say, dude, I'm good. I'm all right. I'm good. But they're not, you know? Like, you can just tell in their voice. I had a conversation with a guy today, and he was telling me on the way to meet me, he was talking to another pastor. This was a pastor as well, and he was telling the pastor they had a massive building campaign going on, and just so much excitement. But anyway, he talked to him, and at the end of the conversation, the guy said, dude, I'm telling you, I'm all right. I'm okay. And he hung up the phone, and he said the Holy Spirit just wouldn't let him go, because he knew something was just off. So he actually called him back. He had been texting before. He called him back and said, hey, you good? Like, really, what's going on? And then the guy started to open up a little bit, like, man, I'm feeling pretty overwhelmed right now. There's a lot going on. But that thing, I think when we trust in the name of Jesus, when we trust in Him, we're willing to take another step and say, no, really, how are you? You know, and because you're right. Now, there are very real, all types of oppression all over the world, but you're right. Sometimes it is just someone that needs
Just
someone to
daily
listen,
life.
to hear what's going on.
And sometimes if you do a quick glance and just look at the people or your own self, the way through your own filter, you're like, no, everybody in my life seems fine. Everybody's doing great. They have, they work, they go home, they eat dinner, they put their kids to bed, they get back up. And maybe they do seem fine. But I think the more you can think about the world and see things through the eyes of the Lord and look at people through that filter, you might notice something that is not as noticeable. So if you look at people the way that God sees them, sometimes you're more aware of, they don't seem okay. They don't seem like in this moment they have it all together, even though they're wanting everybody to think that they have it all together. In this society, we're perfectionists at making it seem like we have it all together, especially when we don't. And so, I mean, Jesus had that immediate ability to just see somebody and understand exactly all of their struggles. We have to really be seeking the heart of God to have that ability to look into someone. And we may not ever really see completely through. But I think you can be more insightful when you're just in tune with the Lord.
Yeah. And that's why I think Eddie asked that question, does the government oppress him account? Maybe it does. You know what I mean? Maybe so. I'm totally hearing you there.
Depends on the day.
Help me, those tax rates. But I do think it is interesting, because I guess as a grown man, a lot of times I tend to, like, sometimes I fall into the temptation of explaining away some types of oppression. You know, so I'm like, well, if they hadn't done that, I wouldn't be so daggum oppressed right now. And I think, I mean, God calls us to be rational. But I mean, Jesus straight up says, I was in prison and you visited me. I was hungry and you fed me. I was naked and you clothed me. So He gave very hands-on, real example. Practical.
That can be done.
And this is crazy. And I'm not saying this is a type of oppression. Some people go deeper, social justice, all kinds of stuff. I'm just saying, like, it's right there in front of us. So just a couple weeks ago in a sermon, I mentioned Meals on Wheels. I had called the senior center. They told me that day, look, it's going to be a while before we're able to have people come in. Well, then after that sermon, the next Monday, the lady called and said, I have 2 days that just came open. I need somebody. And I was like, cool. So Ken Walls and I, for the first time, there's going to be a lot more spots. She's going to take some food. I've done it a bunch of times before. It takes no less than 45 minutes to deliver all those meals to folks in the city limits of Madison. You don't have to leave the city limits.
Do you mean
No more than 45 minutes. Yeah,
at least 45
at
minutes.
least 45 minutes. But just some Meals on Wheels and doing that. That's one. Two, another type of oppression, and I would say is oppression, social, figure out for yourself. I ran into in Ingalls, haven't been inside a grocery store in a while. We do a lot of grocery pickup. Ran into half the church. So the 12-second trip ended up being a little while, which was great. Had a few counseling. I got to meet with people. It was wonderful. But one of the girls that I ran into at the very end, as I was talking to Luke's second grade teacher last year, Miss Reva Jones, who's amazing, another lady walked up in scrubs who worked at my grandmother's nursing home there in Madison. And we both had the masks, so I mean, I could hear okay, you know. But she was saying how I asked her how one of my friends there, Miss Hazel, I haven't seen Miss Hazel in about a year. One of the sweetest women I know. I said, how's Miss Hazel doing? All right. So this is anybody, which is crazy to me. If currently you are thinking, I don't know any oppressed people, I don't know where I could go, I'm going to give you something, write it down. Tomorrow, for real, tomorrow you can call Madison Health and Rehab. Somebody will answer the phone, say, hey, I would like to speak to Beverly. Beverly is the lady that runs the see-through tent that they have set up outside. Beverly is asking folks, just like this girl did. There are a lot of people like Hazel who hasn't had a single visitor since March of last year. Not one visitor. And they're confined to their rooms. They can't even go, y'all, what are we stinking doing as a culture? All that to say, it's a wonderful opportunity to go and visit. So this girl said, and she did, she was tearing up. At the end, she said, no, really, please, her words, please don't forget about us. We really need to see some people. And I'm not going to lie, my grandmother passed away back in the summer, so I haven't been by a lot, but it's also been so off limits, you know? I'm like, how can you get in? Again, one of many, many examples of just one way we can go by and visit.
And it's been very recent that they've been able to set
very
up
recent,
visiting station. So I think that it would just make everybody's day to know that visitors can come. I think you sit outside.
You sit outside
patio,
under the porch.
Covered area, and you keep a distance, of course. But just think of being locked in your bedroom with maybe one other person for a year.
They said they only allow them to come out for
unbelievable.
restroom and bathing. That's the only thing.
I mean, we felt like we were going crazy, and some of you are still home, and I understand that, but I know that you feel confined at home, but I can't imagine being in a nursing home in your bedroom for an entire year.
It was convicting to me. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to be honest with you, okay? We'll be honest with you a little bit. It was convicting to me, and I'm a pastor, and I love Wednesday night Bible study. I love Wednesday morning Bible study. I love Monday night Bible studies with the ladies go to, and Tuesday every other night Bible study, and men's, all those things. But, and I'm serious, I thought this as I was driving on the road after that lady, I wondered, would Jesus be at one of my Bible studies in the next week, or would he be there visiting somebody who needs a visitor? Personally, now he also wrote the Bible, so he's got that thing down. But personally, I'm like, man, Lord, you might spend more time sitting in front of a nursing home than you would in a church building in a Bible study. I think Bible studies are serious. Like, we need Bible study, and we need people, to strengthen and to learn. But y'all, the whole point of all these things is to send people back out. To say, now that we're encouraged and revitalized, we can go back out and do those things. So it's serious. It's absolutely wild. But again, this nursing home that we're talking about is just solitary confinement. Like, you send prisoners, they say that's the worst form of torture, to send a prisoner who's done something wrong, is solitary confinement. So again, all that to say, and y'all don't get wrong, I can get lost in it's sad, it's rough. Simple solution is the Lord, I think, has given me an opportunity to say, and so go and I'm not kidding. You could really call Beverly and say, I need you to please bring someone who hasn't had a visitor in a while. I just want to get to know him. And she'll bring him out front and you get to know him. Awkward, but I promise you this, if you want somebody, if you're feeling lonely, they're feeling lonelier, And one of the things I found, and I'm not making fun, this is my life, my grandmother's life, like, we've had this whole thing. If you're ever wanting someone to talk to and just vent to, go to that nursing home, because they'll listen and they'll go, oh,
sure will. That's actually really true.
They don't have, one, sometimes they don't know what I'm talking about, honestly. But two, I've never had anybody ask me to stop talking. They've never said, will you shut up? So anyway, great place.
I think I find great encouragement in verse 10, because it says, for you, Lord, have not forsaken those who seek you. And sometimes it's our job to remind people that the Lord remembers them. And so I guarantee you there is one person in your life that needs to be reminded of this. And if not, there are plenty of people in our town.
Plenty of people in our town.
We can give you a list of people who need to be reminded that they're not forgotten. The Lord has not forgotten them, but we have to put hands and feet to that and share that message with people. And you know what? Virtually, if you're still at home.
Virtually, 100%.
And I mean, we have seen so many encouraging things over the internet. And there are ways to remind people that the Lord has not forgotten them. And I'm so thankful for our virtual ministry, and that I see that every day, and it is such an encouragement. So absolutely. I look forward to seeing even more ways. But I just think that this verse for me is going to help me to look through my life and ask myself, who needs to be reminded of this? I can be reminded that the Lord will not forget me in my oppression, but also how can I remind other people around
That's
me
right.
that He's
That's really
not
good.
forgotten them.
This
So-
coming Sunday, we're preaching through Jesus' last words on the cross. This Sunday is Jesus in a conversation with the two criminals. We're going to get into that a little bit more. So I'm about to tell you the whole sermon in 30 seconds. If we're going to skip Sunday, I totally get it. But the thief on the right, says, will you remember me when you get there? And Jesus said, I promise you today you'll be with me in paradise. You're right. There's something very special and holy about being remembered. Julie Bice told me an awesome thing that she saw, and I'm trying to find it last week. So I wish I'd have bought that thing. Somehow, she knew that it was a conversation between the thief on the right as he's going to heaven, and somehow they're like, how'd you get here? And he said, that guy in the middle said I could come. I like that idea. Like, he didn't even know Jesus that well at all, but he remembered him. So you're right. There are people in our lives right tonight that need to be reminded that God loves them. And this is crazy. So are you ready to go? Can I share one or two things real quick?
Go for it. Yeah.
There have been 3 times in the last 3 weeks, I promise, where I have been driving down the road. One was Frank and Shirley Hall, and the 2 others I'm not going to share them. Where as I was driving down the road, and some people would say the Lord spoke to him, I think 100% could have been the Lord. But I'm talking a name popped into my mind just like that. One time it was Frank Hall. Hadn't seen Frank in a little while. Loved that man. One of the best men I've ever known. Frank, and so I called him up, and I was on the way to Cajun Lane. I was on my way over to Cajun Lane to see Miss Lynn. But I said, Frank, you're just on my mind. Just want to call and check on you. I was in Miss Linda's house. When I got back into my truck, I had missed a call from Frank, called her back, and Miss Shirley had actually much better now. Everything's really good now. But she had COVID, and she actually been taken to the emergency room that night. Like, just a lot of things going on. And it was just crazy, because just a name comes to you. Y'all, sometimes you're going to be riding down the road and a name's going to come to you. Mm-hmm. And I think you need to act on it, because the Lord does speak in a gentle whisper sometimes. And it really might be like, what if somebody's at their house praying in that same moment? If someone would just call or text or Facebook or reach out, I say, I'd encourage you to act on those things, because it really does. It doesn't take a lot to remind people. We don't really know
what people need to even be reminded of. Sometimes we don't know how God is going to use any of those things. But if you just start the day by saying, Lord, help me to see things the way that you have a heart that you have for people around me, He'll show it to you. Mm-hmm. He'll remind you of people, or He'll bring people into your presence that need a reminder. And all you have to do is be aware and just extend that grace. It's really not anything that you do. You're just like the way that it gets to that person. So
we don't want. I don't think Jesus wants anybody to be forgotten. He says those that know His name are helpful in that. So we encourage you guys. If for real, if anybody on here, I don't know much about England. If Gavin's still there, I could find something in England for you to do, Gavin. But really though, there are virtually and in the buildings ways for us to minister to one another and remind each other of God's grace and of His name. So I would love for us to as we continue slowly getting back into things, to keep that on the forefront.
That's right.
Great verses.
Yeah,
nice.
Thanks. Good job, choice. Bible app.
Boom, Bible app. So I hope everybody has a wonderful Wednesday evening now that this portion of the evening is over.
We have to go put our kids to bed at a much later time than 7:45.
That's true.
They're not.
It's
not going to be even. They're not ready for bed at all.
They're not. They're probably not asleep or anything. It's just.
They're not.
If you get bored in the next little bit, many, oh my goodness, buddy, plenty to keep you going. Hey, there, Gavin, you do. The Lord has you there for lots of reasons. One, immigration laws. But two, we had this conversation, bro. We did. But two, you are a light shining in the darkness.
You are.
I'd love to come to England sometime. Probably not anytime in the near future. But, Gav, this is off the top of my head, and I don't have a mission team or anything to clarify any of this stuff. I would love to bring some folks from Lake Point to England sometime.
Be awesome.
Even if it was a mission trip, like at your mom's house. Like we could just hang out with you guys. And for real though, I would absolutely love to. I would.
Those air quotes didn't imply that we were just going to call it a mission trip and just have a trip.
No,
but really,
no. Like me and Chauncey also want to go. For real though, Gav, I don't know if you're. If you're, I'm not. Let's just think through that. I shouldn't have said that in front of 17 people. But if there's, I don't know, Gavin. One, I commit to praying for you. I will be praying for you, and I look forward to talking to you soon just to catch up, bud. You have a good night as well, Miss Linda.
Good night, Miss Linda. People are like,
thankful for you. It's been a long time. All right. we're gonna head out. We'll see you tomorrow. Miss Linda, I'll call you tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm gonna try to get to Rutledge. But anyway, we'll talk to everybody tomorrow. All right. Have a great evening.
Good night.
Thankful for you. Talk to you later.
Bye.